Don't need it. Don't need it. New year, new eyes. I got LASIK eye surgery and I'm going to tell you all about it. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Sid and I make videos all about creating a life that I love to live. And that includes investing in things that are improving the quality of my life. And that is why just a few weeks ago, last month in December, I got LASIK eye surgery. I've been wearing glasses since elementary school, so really the majority of my life, because I'm 30 years old now and I need my glasses to live my daily life. That's how things were for me. I needed them to drive. I needed them to do my job. I needed them to do things around the house. I was very nearsighted, so anything that was like this further distance away from my face, I needed my glasses on to be able to make out what those words are, what those shapes are. I was extremely nearsighted, and I knew for a long time that I eventually wanted a life where I didn't have to be dependent on glasses and contacts to live my daily life. I was also very over the expense of paying for glasses or contacts. I found them very expensive to keep up with because I am very nearsighted. I have a really strong or really high prescription, as I'm told from doctors. And it felt like every year that I was going in for an annual eye exam, my prescription kept changing, which I think is common. It's typical for that to happen throughout your 20s. But with all the changes, it felt like I often needed a new pair of glasses. And some years it was like, okay, I'm going to just hold on to the pair that I have now and just make this work. And some years it was like, okay, I'm going to invest in a new pair, but I'm going to be angry when I do it because this stuff is like $400. So yeah, I was tired of the expense and I knew that I really wanted LASIK one day. It just came down to being emotionally and mentally prepared because it is a procedure, so there were things that I was nervous about, and it came down to having the funds to get this done. Those two things needed to exist at the same time, and thankfully, luckily, my husband and I paid off our debt in spring 2022, and that freed up space to focus on saving to get my eyes done. Also, my husband had LASIK done 8 or 9 years ago, had a fantastic experience, has great vision, says it was the best money he ever spent on himself. And so I knew I had an advocate in my corner for saving to get this done and also getting through the anxieties of getting the procedure. Now, I needed to understand the pros and the cons to getting something like this done before I committed to it, right? Because it is a procedure, there are risks and there are benefits, and that's something that we should all understand before choosing to do something like this. And the pros are no more glasses or contacts, right? That's one of the main reasons people choose to get LASIK, is so that they can live a life without having to depend on those tools. Another pro is that it is a really quick procedure and you can go back to your normal life within 1 or 2 days. You're not laid up in the hospital under examination for a week. Your eyes aren't bleeding tears. It's not going to disrupt your life or hurt super bad or anything like that. It's very quick. The technology behind LASIK is very advanced to where people can just pick up their normal activities within a couple of days and see a lot better by the next day. Another pro is that most people end up with 20/20 vision. Some people even end up with 20/15 vision, like my husband did. Love to hear that. Love that. Want that for me, right? Now for the cons. 20/20 vision isn't guaranteed. You don't know how LASIK is going to affect you until you have it. So that is a risk of getting this done. You don't really know how you're going to recover until you choose to have this done. Another con is that this isn't covered by health insurance or vision insurance. This is seen as elective. It's not medically necessary. There is no doctor telling me or telling you that you need to go have this done for the health of your eye or the health of your eyesight. This is completely optional. And the last con that I found was that it has a lot of side effects. You could have dry eye for a long time, struggle to see well at night. Light sources might have a halo or starburst around them. You could have headaches. You could be very light sensitive. Light sensitivity is very popular among people who have LASIK. Even after they've recovered, it's still just a sensitivity to light. Like I said, you don't know how LASIK is going to affect you until it happens to you, but there are a lot of popular side effects that you can read about from other people, some of which last for a few months and some of which clear up after a few weeks. It really just depends. And this last bit isn't a pro or a con, it's just truth. And if you see it as a pro or a con, you know, that's you. But the truth is that whether you have LASIK or not, most people, when they reach their mid 40s, they will need readers to see things up close. Most people will need that. LASIK is not a replacement or an alternative to the natural aging that the eye goes through. So yeah, in like 15 years, hopefully later, but it could be a little sooner, who knows, I might need readers to read things well. Those optimal results that you're getting from LASIK is said to last up to 20 years. So yeah, eventually you're going to need readers. And so taking all of these things into consideration, I was like, okay, noted. Sign me up. So I had a consultation done first. You need a consultation to even figure out if you're a candidate for LASIK, because not everyone is. Just because you wear glasses, just because you wear contacts does not mean LASIK is the answer for your eyes. And the place I went to for LASIK had free consultations. I wanted to go to the same place where my husband went for his LASIK because he had a great experience. This place has a fabulous reputation in my area, and it's a part of a network of locations across the country. So if I were to ever move or something like that, and I needed to see somebody about my eyes or have a touch up on my eyes, I'm a part of that program, or I was a patient of this company already, you know? So my consultation didn't take long at all. It was really quick. I met with a manager of the place and he was really friendly. He did some eye tests on me to understand the shape and the health of my eye. These are very similar to what you experience going to the eye doctor, where you have to, you know, put your chin on the chin rest, make sure your forehead hits the thing, look straight ahead, and they're doing stuff to your eyes, like look at the hot air balloon, go in and out of focus, that kind of thing. Very easy, simple stuff. I then went to another room where he had me do the eye test, where I'm reading the lines on the board on the wall, you know, covering up one eye and reading the lowest line I can, covering up the other eye, doing the same thing, figuring out which eye is my dominant eye. It was very similar to an eye doctor annual exam. He then explained everything to me. He explained how the procedure works, what to keep in mind for recovery, what I'm going to need to do, how much it costs, that kind of thing. He was, I don't know, he was kind of saying this as if I'm about to get it done. So I was like, am I a candidate? Does that mean that I can get this done? He couldn't tell me that for sure because he wasn't the doctor. So he left for a little bit and went to go ask the doctor, and then came back and said that, yes, I am a candidate. So I was really excited, and right there in that moment, I scheduled my procedure. I went in on a Thursday for the consultation, and I booked my procedure for the very next Thursday for a week out. Like, everything happened really fast. I thought that I would probably book mine for a month later to give myself time to get through the holidays and to cope more with the idea of having this done, but that turned out to be the right opportunity, was to get it done the next week. So I scheduled it for that, and that was that. Also, I should say that you typically get your eyes dilated during your LASIK consultation because they need that to really understand your prescription. And I didn't get my eyes dilated that day because the optometrist wasn't in, so I had to come back in the next day. And actually, I'm really glad that I did, because I had a night to think about it more and come up with more questions. So I was really glad to see the optometrist the next day, and I had a list of questions on my phone, y'all, and I was ready to like ask her everything and like type down everything she was saying, because I'm like, I need to, you know, finish up my research, because I booked the appointment at this point and this is my last chance to learn everything that I can learn before getting this done. So, you know, I wanted to know what makes me a good candidate. Like, I didn't think to ask that the day before, but she was saying it had to do with the shape of my eye and the fact that I have a nice thick cornea, which is the part that they are going to slice open to do the treatment, is the cornea. So that was good. I was asking, you know, if I have cataracts when I'm older, because that's common. If I have cataracts when I'm older, does getting this treatment now, you know, getting this incision in my eyes now, does that affect my ability to be treated when I'm older? And she was like, no, that has no effect on it. It might seem like a silly question. I just wanted to know. I wanted to know, how does doing this thing to my eye right now affect any potential eye treatment that I'm going to need later on? And she assured me that it won't. I want to know about the surgeon, you know, like while I'm here, you know, I want to ask, you know, what's he like? You know, he's going to slice my eyes open. And I don't know you like that. So what's he like? I wanted to know all kinds of things. And I walked away from that conversation with a lot more confidence and understanding about getting LASIK done. And I'm glad that I had a night to think about all these questions and go in for eye dilation the next day, because it just gave me more time to think. Another thing that the optometrist said that made me feel really good was that she said that I have a lot to gain from getting LASIK because I had a negative 6.75 prescription in one eye, negative 5.5 or something in the other eye. I have what they call a high prescription. And she was saying because of this, I have a lot to gain from getting LASIK. I'm going to see so much better and will likely not need glasses or contacts. So about a week later, I had the procedure, and there is nothing special that you need to do to prepare for the procedure. You can eat, you can wear your normal clothes, you can take your normal medicine if you take allergy medicine or any kind of prescriptions. There's nothing that you need to prepare except for your state of mind, because you are about to have your eye sliced open. That's a little dramatic. They're just going to create a flap in your cornea, but still, that can be a lot to cope with. When I got there, I had to sign all these informed consent forms in front of someone who worked for the company. I already read these consent forms because I was given them at my consultation, so I had time to read them and be comfortable with them. And eventually, after kind of a long wait, I was called back to begin post-op. I was given a surgical cap to put my hair, or at least most of my hair, under the surgical cap to get it out of the way. I was given a Tylenol PM and a little cup of water, and I was given some antibiotic eye drops, and that was the preparation for me to get ready, basically. Then I went into a room with 2 other people, and we just sat there and waited. I don't really know what we were waiting on. I think it was for the Tylenol PM to maybe get into our system. Eventually, after a while, the surgeon came in, and that was the first time I ever met the surgeon. He came in and he explained to us what was about to happen. He explained to us what we're going to do when we lay there, what the machines are going to do, and it was kind of making my stomach hurt because I was already kind of nervous. So you going into detail about what's going to happen to my eye, I appreciate it, but I'm also like, that was also the opportunity to ask any questions to the surgeon. I didn't have any. I was just kind of ready to get this over with at that point. After a while, I was moved to a different area where I was kind of on deck to be the next one up. You know, when I sat in that area, they told me, go ahead and text your driver. Let your driver know that you're 20 minutes out. And I was like, oh my gosh, like in 20 minutes, like I'm about to have a big chunk of my life changed. I texted my husband, who was there the whole time in the parking lot, to let him know to come up in 20 minutes. He actually couldn't be in the center where I was getting my eyes done, where I was getting the treatment, but he was around the whole time. So then it was my turn. I had to enter this room that kind of looked like this. This is as close of a thing that I can think of. Now, mind you, I had to enter this room with no glasses on, so I didn't get the best look at it, but it pretty much looked like this. And I laid down on this table, and once I did, I started to shake. My feet, my legs, my kneecaps, my hands, I had the shakes because I was nervous and I was shook because I was getting to a point where it was like, oh, like there's no turning back. I'm about to get this procedure done and I already paid, so I'm definitely not changing my mind now. And then the procedure began. The surgeon covered one eye and got to work on the other one. He put numbing drops in my eyes so that I wouldn't feel anything. And then he put these clamp things in my eye sockets to hold my eyes open. Yes, your eye is held open for like 10 minutes at a time during this procedure. It is weird to think about, but it's actually not weird when it's happening. You won't even be bothered by the fact that it's wide open. Your eyes are numb, it's not going to bother you. Then I'm pretty sure he laid some like circular thing on my eye so that the machine would know where to cut the cornea flap. And when that was ready to happen, a machine was making its way down toward my eye, where my vision was slowly becoming pitch black. Like once that machine made it all the way down, I saw nothing but black, and I could tell that this is the part where the incision is happening because I could hear the noise and I could smell it happening too. Now, if you research LASIK, you'll see people say that it smells like burning hair when the incision is being made. I didn't find that to be true. It smelled like machine parts or like a lot of overheated computers or something, but I didn't find that it smelled bad or anything. So yeah, that tool created an incision in my cornea, and then that eye was closed and the same thing happened to the other eye. And that incision, that cornea flap, was lifted on both eyes so that the next part of the treatment could happen. Now, you'll see a lot in LASIK research that getting the procedure done does not hurt. Y'all lying, because I felt a lot of pressure during the incision. Now my eyes were numb, so of course I could not feel the incision being made. Like that would be crazy. But I did feel when that machine was creating that incision in my eye, it felt like pressure was pushing down on my eyeball with like every little bit of those cuts or whatever was happening. I felt that pressure in my eye sockets, and it was uncomfortable to the point where I would say that it kind of hurt, but it didn't feel like anything that I couldn't get through, that I couldn't survive. I didn't feel like I needed to jump up from the table. I wasn't like I could feel, my eye being sliced or anything. It was just a lot of pressure that was really uncomfortable. And I was thankful for the person who did my consultation. That person was next to me the whole time during the procedure, and he was fantastic. He was next to me, telling me, giving me a heads up of what was about to happen next, telling me when to breathe, reminding me to, look straight up, keep looking that direction, do what the doctor says, don't move your head. He was just guiding me through everything, and he was very gentle. He would tap me on my arm when it was time for me to breathe, and like he would tap me when it was time to release the breaths, because that pressure I was feeling on my eyes, I had to breathe in certain intervals to kind of get through that discomfort. He was also updating me on the progress of the procedure, which I really appreciated. When one incision, when one flap was created in one eye, he told me I was 25% done with the whole thing. When the same thing happened to the other eye, he said, you are 50% done. You're doing fantastic. I appreciated that reassurance. I love the updates. I love the kindness, because I was very nervous, and I'm sure they're used to a lot of people laying down on that table being extremely nervous. After the flaps were created in my cornea and lifted open, the table I was laying on then rotated me to a different piece of machinery, or to a different set of machines. I couldn't really see this happening, but I could feel that I was rotating, and I knew that this is where the treatment is happening on my eye. This is where the surgeon used a laser to reshape my cornea, and the reshaping of the cornea is what is improving the vision. So the whole time I had to look straight up at this green dot, and if my eyes were moving a little, that's okay, because the technology with laser eye surgery has eye tracking. So it's tracking the movement of my eye while the surgeon is reshaping my cornea, because, the technology understands that the human eye is going to move a little bit. This part was super fast. It was very quick. It was very pain-free. I was not uncomfortable at all. It lasted maybe, a few minutes. And when he was done, I could tell the surgeon was putting more drops in my eye, and I could tell that he was like brushing or placing my flap back down and closing it. So that was kind of interesting to see, but not to feel, right? Because my eyes were numb. I should also say that music was playing the whole time I was there, from signing the informed consent forms to doing the pre-op to getting through the procedure. The operating room was blasting music the whole time. I mean, it was loud, and it was like Ashanti. It was Ariana Grande. It was Chris Brown. When I got my eyes cut open, I'm Real by J-Lo was playing. So just keep that in mind. I just feel like you should know that. So when the flaps in my cornea were put back into place and the procedure was done, I sat up from the table, and my vision was very blurry, and it should be. I couldn't really make out things very clear, but I could see well enough to go into this other station with the surgeon, and he did a quick eye check on me just to make sure that everything looked as it should. He said I looked fine, and that I would be very happy tomorrow. He said that. He was like, I think you'll be very happy tomorrow with your vision. And I was sent home, and that was that. That took probably 20 minutes or 25. I don't know. It didn't take long at all. It was very quick. Now, after LASIK, you are told to go straight home and take a nap, because in 3 to 4 hours, those numbing drops are going to wear off, and you do not want to be awake when that happens. They told me to go lay down, so you ain't got to tell me twice. I went home and I laid down. Now, let's get into the cost, because I know you want to know. So the place that I went to charges $4,700 for LASIK. Yes, $4,700 for LASIK. Now for me, because of the vision insurance that I had, I got a discount of $1,100. And because of the timing in which I scheduled my procedure to take place, I got another $200 off. So I paid $3,400 for a $4,700 procedure. Now here's what to know about recovering from LASIK. Your vision is going to be so blurry for hours after treatment. I mean hours. My husband went and picked me up chicken nuggets and fries for dinner because that's such an easy food to feel your way around and to be able to eat. So I ate something very simple like that for that night. I couldn't make out any text that my friends were sending me because everything was extremely blurry. So my friends had to send voice notes. And really I was trying to stay off my phone anyway because I was trying to lay down and close my eyes as much as possible to aid in the healing process. And really they say that you don't have to go to sleep, you just have to go lay down and close your eyes. So if you get bored after LASIK, talk to somebody or have somebody talk to you or turn on a podcast because you're going to not be able to see anything really well. And if you want some entertainment, you're gonna have to do something with audio instead. The very next morning, I went in for post-op. My vision was still very blurry. I was wearing sunglasses the whole time because of light sensitivity, but I went in, they did a quick eye test on my eyes and they told me that everything was healing as it should. Everything was healing normally. And my vision will start to clear up in a day or two, and I'll continue to heal and my vision will continue to stabilize after that. And they also said that they don't need to see me again unless I have issues. So I haven't seen them since post-op. Also that next day, I went back to work and I work on a computer screen all day. So per the optometrist's suggestion, I wore sunglasses that whole time while at work because getting used to screens like that right after LASIK was gonna take some time, and she suggested, wear your sunglasses while you work. In hindsight, I wish I would not have worked that next day, even though you can go to work the next day, you can resume a lot of your normal activities the day after LASIK. I just wish that I wouldn't have done that because I just wish that I would have laid down more and closed my eyes the next day to heal more, or to just to be off of screens. But I did it and it worked out. It's fine because that weekend after LASIK, I spent a lot of that time taking naps, keeping my eyes closed. So I did eventually, within a few days, get a lot more rest. Now this should be pretty obvious, but you cannot touch your eyes after LASIK. Don't touch your eyes, don't touch your eye area, don't wear makeup up in here, don't do anything like that because you just had an incision made in your eye. And if you rub your eye, I don't know how it's gonna feel. I don't know how painful it's gonna be, but I bet you're gonna regret it and you're gonna be somewhere screaming and crying. Do not touch your eyes after LASIK. Now, a week after the procedure, I had to take medicated eye drops 5 times a day when I woke up, at meal times, and at bedtimes. And I also need artificial tears every 1 to 2 hours, or even more often if I need them, because the artificial tears are really going to help combat dry eye. They're going to help in the healing process. So be prepared to buy a lot of artificial tears because your eyes are going to drink these up after LASIK. A kind that I use is Sustain. This is empty, but I tried this one. It has to be preservative free, by the way. I tried this one, and right now I'm also using the Refresh vials of artificial tears. So be prepared to have to buy a lot of these to aid in the healing process. Often after LASIK, it can feel like you have a grain of sand in your eye or that you have an eyelash in your eye. Don't rub your eye. Do not touch your eye. Just use artificial tears to help relieve that feeling and to provide moisture in your eye. I think when that's happening, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's your incision feeling a little dry. So just moisturize them with artificial tears. Do not touch your eye. So whenever I feel that eyelash feeling, whenever I feel my eye burning, whenever I feel them itching, I use artificial tears for relief. And those artificial tears are something that you're gonna have to keep up with for up to 8 weeks after LASIK, or even longer, because it really just depends on how your dry eye is feeling. It's a benefit to you. It's not medicated. You can use it as much as you need to have relief. So the recovery includes medicated eye drops 5 times a day for a week, and also artificial tears every 1 to 2 hours, or more often if you need them, for up to 8 weeks or longer if you need that. Also after LASIK, you have to wear things to protect your eyes. You have to sleep and shower in these goggles because you can't let water get into your eye, and you especially don't want to let shampoo get into your eyes. My goggles are a little dingy looking because I've worn them in the shower and they've gotten wet, but my eyes haven't. So they've been really good at protecting my eyes. And the place where you get LASIK, they will give you this. They will give you the eye protection you need, including sunglasses, because you have to wear sunglasses a lot after LASIK too, because there are a lot of instances of light sensitivity when you're outside in natural light. You can also sleep in these too, which is what I did. I slept in my sunglasses because I find this more comfortable than the goggles. Like I said, I also worked on the computer in these sunglasses after LASIK. I watched TV in these sunglasses after LASIK because of the brightness from the TV. I was a little sensitive to that, so I did that too, but they'll give you sunglasses too when you get this done. I also found that it was helpful for me to wear these sunglasses or the goggles a lot around the house anyway, because I'm so used to putting my hands up here to push my glasses up. I'm so used to raising my hands near my face, and you are not supposed to touch this eye area. So wearing the sunglasses really helped put a barrier between me and my hands, because I'm still trying to get over that muscle memory of trying to push up glasses. Another thing about LASIK is that you're going to be advised to not consume caffeine or alcohol for 2 weeks after LASIK, because those kind of things can really contribute to dry eye, and LASIK is already kind of uncomfortable with the dry eye thing on its own afterward. You don't want to contribute more to that by drinking things like alcohol or caffeine. So that is what life is like after LASIK, at least the immediate 2 weeks after LASIK. Now for me, it's been 3 weeks since I've had it done. So how am I doing now? I am seeing the best I have ever seen in my entire life. My distance vision is so fantastic, especially in natural light. I am seeing things that I've never noticed before. I'm seeing that, I didn't know that tree had so many branches. I'm seeing details on buildings and down the street better than I've ever had before. My distance has improved significantly, but I can tell my vision is not at 100% just yet. When things are close to me, especially like my phone, holding my phone to read something, my vision looking at that isn't super clear. It's kind of halo-y, even a little double vision-y a little bit too, which is really interesting because before, just a few weeks ago, I had to hold something this close to be able to make that out clearly. And now when something is that close in front of me, I'm kind of like trying to hold it at a certain angle and my eyes are trying to stabilize and focus in on it. It's really interesting, but this isn't crazy. I'm not super alarmed by this because it can take months for your vision to stabilize after LASIK. It really just depends. Some people, they see everything clearly or for after a week. They can see everything clearly after a week. I think it might just take me more time to see everything clearly at every distance because I don't know why. Maybe because of how my eyes are made or because of the high prescription that I had beforehand. But I am looking forward to when my vision is stabilized and when I'm done adjusting to LASIK. Another thing I'm noticing is that my eyes are focusing in and out a lot, kind of like a camera lens, where a camera lens focuses in and out on an object. My eyes do that a lot with objects. Even though my distance is really good, it does that a lot with things, even in the distance. And I think that's a part of my eyes just stabilizing. And, your eyes heal independently of each other, but you need, you're using both of them when you see. So that's just a part of the process. And I can't wait till that part is done too. And I'm just seeing everything super clear and not having to do the lens focus thing. But that's just something that I'm going through right now. I also don't need my glasses. I haven't needed my glasses since the procedure took place. So that is something that I know that I'm good on. Like I don't have to wear those things anymore. So the whole experience has just been really interesting and I'm just trying to document it as much as I can and be mindful of, what I'm noticing, what improvements I'm noticing on what weeks, just to keep track of how long this is taking for me for my vision to fully stabilize. So I don't know my updated prescription. I don't know if I have 20/20 vision because I have not been to my optometrist since having this done and since the blurriness has wore off. I haven't seen a doctor for an official new diagnosis or new prescription on my eye. So I don't know where I stand with that, but I am excited to find out what that is, what my new prescription is. And I'm just excited to keep improving and to keep healing along the journey and to just get used to having LASIK eyes, having life with no contacts or glasses. So I'm very excited. I'm very glad that I had this done. I'm seeing the best I've ever seen in my whole entire life. If you're nervous about it, be encouraged. and just know that it is really safe and people have really amazing results. So let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer them or provide any insight that I can. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.